I'm Roxana Coman, and I'm indeed responsible for the IT communication, digital enablement, alongside with everything that can stay under that umbrella, user experience or people experience. We have heard also employee experience, and I'm very happy to be this afternoon with you and to be again joining this event. Last time when I was here last year, I wanted to bring in the attention to the attention of everyone the way in which from my perspective the workplace have evolved, integrating elements related to digital inclusiveness, digital well-being, or sustainability. So actually going a little bit from the traditional IT role, so to say. And the more I got into this topic, and the more I experienced working in an IT organization, being responsible for the end-to-end processes and technologies that are supporting a company that activates in the energy field, from, let's say, downstream to the upstream, ending with the energy trading and so on. The complexity gave me a bit of more challenge in understanding how the IT organization of the future could look like. And I was very happy today to be or to attend the presentation of Karsten, our colleague speaker from Lufthansa, that basically talked as well about how the new IT would look like, touching more of the perspective of the technology. Actually, my intention is to focus a little bit more about the role of IT as an enabler for the employee experience and a driver of the digital culture transformation. And having that in mind, IT is a driver of the workplace evolution in the end, because we have seen that in the last 3 years, since the pandemic has started, continued and ended, the workplace and the way of working has evolved in many ways, in ways that in some industries or in some areas were not even considered before the pandemic. Like, just imagine working exclusively from home and having an even more increased productivity and efficiency. And I am picking up on something that Karsten mentioned in his presentation earlier. He was mentioning something like the IT the current IT organizations or departments cannot function the way they function. So far, there has been a lot of research done in that area, showing that IT organizations are asked to innovate and to transform, while also fighting, so to say, against lifelong lived challenges like, I don't know, functional hierarchies, processes, people, and so many others. However, what I experienced in the last years in my role is that I realized that IT plays a crucial role in shaping the future of work through enhancing the employee experience. And how IT can do that, it's actually, I underline here only 3 of the topics of the points that I believe are very important, and I could see many of the points that Francesca mentioned a bit earlier, giving the examples of the ambassadors, or in other words, community management type of pushing the technology change into the business, supporting the adoption, offering much more as an IT organization to the business than it was required in the past. So leveraging technology to support employee needs, IT can drive cultural change and improve productivity. Because and I will again pick up on Francesca's example on the ambassadors. You can increase productivity by helping the people cope with the with the huge amount of changes that are deployed constantly. We can see that, for example, Microsoft is changing and is changing their products almost on a daily basis, and people often, at least, come to me sometimes complaining that it's too much for them to deal with, too many things to stay on top of, while they are requested to deliver on their business day-to-day activities. Another point I believe it was very important as well is the collaboration and the communication tools that can foster more inclusive workplace. I'm not sure how much attention you or in your companies this topic has been given to in the past, but nowadays, especially in this new way of working, which is, by the way, not that new anymore. It has become the norm. Like, either we speak about exclusively working from home or having a hybrid way of working. Topics such as inclusive digital workplace have become, let's say, more they have been prioritized on a higher level than they used to be. And then the topic was, how can IT support the organization, the business itself, to leverage the technology, the assistive, for example, features of a technology, so they can make sure they create a digital workplace where they give everyone the feeling of belonging, of pulling together towards the same direction, of being not being the employee in the cloud, the person that I'm poking on Teams, pulling out the information that I need, and then going back on my day-to-day work. Another topic, I believe it's also in high demand and lately on the agenda of many events like this one, but also at the level of many companies, are the emerging technologies and this cutting edge or breakthrough technologies. And earlier there was a discussion about ChatGPT and all the generative artificial intelligence, and we see already that in many organization, independent of the size they have, this is a topic that is becoming top one priority. Well, we were talking a little bit earlier about IT as a technology provider, and this has been for many years the way in which IT as an organization has been perceived by the business, like a supplier, if you want. In my view, this approach, this perspective has changed, and I see IT more as a provider of employee experience. And we see that in many presentations, our colleagues, our experts present today, they all touch the topic of the user experience, customer experience, and how to increase it, how to touch it, how to tackle it in a way that it's seamless, is efficient, and it reduces complexity and reduces the cost and increase the values for their company. Well, in my perspective, IT can build trust with employees by prioritizing data privacy, resilience, and security. We talk now about a shift in the workplace, a complete change of the workplace construct, and we see that many companies have went also after the pandemic for the home office or remote way of working. And in this sector, I would say, in this area, the resilience and the security, in my view, it's the top priority, because the fears, the priority of each company, so to say, is to protect their people, their assets, and their data. And well, IT, it's focusing on a user-centric approach, and design and implementing measures that support the deployment of technology in a way that the users can feel safe to work in this remote environment has become the prerogative of IT. And maybe it's just my view based on the experience that I have, and I will be curious as well to learn about how this goes in your organization and how you have tackled that and what is the strategy in your case. But I believe that a sustained investment in the user-focused innovation can drive business growth and competitive advantage. Facilitating the resilience, or supporting and enhancing the resilience of their employees to cope not only with the huge amount of technological changes that are happening everywhere, but also with all the challenges, the risks, or the threats that are coming alongside with them. On the other hand, building digital literacy and agility in the workplace, in my perspective, is something that in the past wasn't required, wasn't an IT prerogative, so to say, but it has become. We have started to implement learning platforms to support the users, the employees. We have defined our role as being a key one in educating and upskilling the employees in this digital literacy and agility, and we've seen various examples of why agility, working in agile framework, is requested more and more at all levels of the organization, especially when it comes to this relation between business and IT. By making technology accessible and understandable, IT can empower employees to make informed business decisions. And I think, Carsten, in your presentation, you touched that point very well when you said, enable the decision making or buying it. I'm not sure if I got that correctly. We'll have to talk about this more in our roundtable discussions. Investing in employee training and development to increase this this digital fluency, it has become somehow, at least in my area, a point that wasn't so let's say developed in the past, and somehow now we are at the top of the learning and educational producers, so to say, even though we are an IT organization. And that's why I see that the collaboration between IT, the businesses, and the HR can facilitate continuous learning and growth for employees. And here we can spend a lot of time of giving examples of how we put that in place by providing a digital learning platform that combines not only Microsoft already created content, but also in-house one that is considering the specific of our business and so on. How, for example, we developed and implemented a company-wide ambassador, we call them as well, in some areas champions as well, ambassador network that support each other, and actually they act out as our extended hand into the organization, or how we try to extend and grow an intranet platform that provides the users a place where they can find everything they need from IT at the right place, at the right time, whenever they need it, from wherever they want to access it. Okay, driving cultural change through IT innovation. Well, in my experience, I believe that IT has the power to shape the organization culture through innovation, innovative technology adoption. And when I'm saying adoption, in many cases, people might think to the technical adoption or deployment of the technical initiatives or the technological products, services, cloud platforms, whatever you want to bring in this discussion. But when I'm looking at the adoption, I'm looking at the adoption from the perspective of the employee. How do you support the different type of personas to adopt different type of technologies, leveraging them to make the best out of it for their own purposes? And for me, the IT can do that by prioritizing the employee engagement and the well-being. And the reason for which I put that well-being here is because I believe in a positive workplace culture. And in the past, we were talking about life-work balance. In my view, there is no balance because I'm the same person. And if you ask me to stay in balance, this is my personal life and this is my work life. The tension is still on me to keep this on balance. So I'm a strong believer of a healthy work life flow, right? And we talk about technology that can support our employees to accommodate their professional requirements or their work duties within their life duties as well, especially in the context of hybrid working. So in other words, how can we also use technology to create a well-being and ensure that our employees stay connected and engaged and they are not exhausted, they don't find themselves overloaded with information related to, I don't know, technicalities that they cannot understand because they are too busy to fulfill the business requirements or to fulfill against their goals. The use of analytics and data-driven insights can support the decision-making and identify areas to improve. And many of you say, wow, that's such a buzzword. We've heard that before. It's like everywhere. But in fact, it's not only, for me here, I'm not only referring to the strategic decisions that a business line is required to take or an IT department is required to make with regards to, I don't know, a SaaS platform or whatever, but the day-to-day decision that also a standard office worker is required to take, and how, and in this context, how can IT support this category of, or these layers of the organization as well? Then IT has the power to shape the organizational culture also by embracing a culture of constant change and innovation. And with that also comes the challenge of too much change, of feeling overloaded, of feeling that, we cannot cope with everything that is to be embedded into the day-to-day tasks. And from my perspective, this is a task in the new IT organization that wasn't considered so far. IT was, if I look back when I started working in IT years back, IT was rather like, as I said before, a provider. Give me the technology that I need because my customer wants to have this, or it will help me get more customers, or it will make my relationship with my customers more efficient, more whatever. But this has shifted, and it's a shift in the mindset that, in my view, the organization from a top management view are starting to realize. And I see that initiatives are popping. I'm trying also to stay in contact with my peers in this area, and I see and learn that in their organization as well, the top management is starting to pick up on initiatives that triggers the way in which IT organization is set up, the way in which it becomes, the way in which it becomes rather a partner of the business, not necessarily something that you just pull out what you need to become more efficient or more effective. I think I rushed through a little bit through the presentation. I can spend more time during our roundtable discussion to elaborate more why I believe that the IT role has changed and why we should rethink the way IT position itself as an organization within a company or as a department, depending on how this is structured functionally in your organizations. And I would be really interested to see also a more focused discussion also from a technical point of view, and the points that Karsten and I encourage all of you to also have a look at Karsten's presentation, because having the both elements, the more technical orientated one combined with an employee focused one and a digital transformation, because earlier we learned that IT is asked to be innovative and to transform, but in order to do that, you need to overcome some ages of long-lived challenges. Any questions? If not, you can also ask me later. I would be more than happy to share concrete examples. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can just write me an email. I'll be happy to stay connected, and also to learn more about your organization, especially when it comes to challenges, because sometimes it's always easy to promote our successes. But also, I believe that the challenges and also the failures are equally important. So if you also have that examples and you want to share best practices on them, happy to learn about them. Thank you.